Well, looking at my day off.
I know, my bad, guys.
That's all good. Happy to be here.
Did you get the response you'd hoped?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, they knew, for whatever reason, human nature, I guess. But we had a grand total of 2 days like that last year, so we'll make sure that's one of maybe no more,
Right.
or maybe there's one in us like down the road.
But can you find a silver lining? Yeah, it was a crummy day, but
Yeah.
to kind of get past that and respond and come back as
absolutely.
you go into the regular season can be a good thing, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, there's teachings, learnings in every situation, right? Good, bad, or otherwise, and I think that's probably the best thing that came from it is just recognition of what could have happened differently, to fend it off, because it could be a game day like that. I believe in biorhythms, and I believe that there's some days that, for whatever reason, somebody may not have it or a group doesn't have it, and what do you do? And especially those that are in leadership roles, what could have been done? And questions were asked, like, hey, leadership is just a general word, right? And what are tangible ways that you can impact as a leader in these moments? And sometimes, because oftentimes your captains are your best players, and best players have to go, or what, follow me, watch me go,
Right.
and try to just will and be contagious in that way. So just good moments, like you said, it sucked. I'm better at letting things go than I ever was, especially with this group. They certainly didn't like the feeling, but I thought today's work was great.
They've earned that little benefit of a doubt over time.
Yeah.
And how having fun together.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, because it's such a good group. It's in some ways they've made the bar so high, and our expectations around, like that doesn't happen to us. It happens to other teams, not us. And so, yeah, I mean, they have earned that. It's not a space that they're in often. I'm not having to pull it out of them. Those are the worst days coaching, so you're going to pull it out of people. And, that's generally, it's not a group that does that to us.
I thought Carly had a brace on her arm. Was she
Yeah.
ill, or?
Yeah, she was tossing some salad, got a little too tossy, I guess. And just, I don't know. It's not anything of
Right.
concern at this moment. She should have pizza and steak, I think.
Well, I'm feeling better.
Yeah, she's progressing. I I think today was a day that, Chuck was going to do a little bit more and just kind of see where it was at. But yeah, those soft tissue things are, it's not a set timeline.
It's only been, I think, 2 practices since we talked to you after the game on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
But in mentioning that the offense was further ahead of the defense at this point, how has the defense, looked, I guess, today?
Yeah.
Not asking about yesterday, but just do you think you can get it to where
Absolutely.
you want it to be by Friday?
Absolutely. Some of it was schemes, what the coaches were asking. We had to, kind of look at our role in some of this. And so we actually watched a little bit of video from the game and kind of cleaned up some of the spaces that we felt like we were putting them in bad spots. And I think I mentioned that I didn't necessarily love some of the things that we were doing. And so we settled in, and I think overall it was better.
Katie, have some advice for you guys?
Katie? No, Katie was just happy to be around, and she just wants to soak up some good basketball, She's missing the WNBA a little bit, I think. But no, it's good to see her. It's good for some of the players to see her.
With the opener just a few days away, how difficult or how different has it been, like scouting, preparing schemes with pretty much half of the WNBA on different
seven, new situations, and obviously there's some, like Steph obviously has coached before, and you have her system, but the players running it are different. It's much more challenging, and it's a scout's nightmare. Like when you have a couple coaching changes, if it's 1 or 2, you're like, okay, it stayed the same, and but no, this is like you're starting from, from zero, and trying to learn, and then obviously new rosters, etc. So. I think so. It's not only the coaching changes, but a lot of player changes too. Mm-hmm. And so, again, this is the time that you probably are less concerned until you get more, data on teams, etc. You're really locked in on yourselves, and probably in-game adjustments as you learn on the fly a little bit more.
A few coaches are in the league too.
What's that?
Coaches are in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's an interesting time.
Do you take anything up? Obviously, not having the film and the data, but do you take anything from Dallas in particular? Because it seems like, I mean, Kurt's handprints are really all over that coaching staff and that philosophy. It seems like, even though he's not going to be on the sideline.
Yeah, and obviously Chris being an understudy to Kurt, but I'm sure Chris is putting his own stamp on it, and certainly I think you take some leanings probably in that situation and see. But I think that the stuff that we've seen already is different than what Kurt was running at both Connecticut and LA. But yeah, I think some of it. I think what we lock in on more right now is because we know the personnel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the tendencies are there, and ultimately, you're going to be guarding a ball screen somewhere, right? And so we tend to guard actions overall pretty well. Sometimes it's like a handful, like someone like Camila Cardoso. Like, what are we going to live with? We're not going to shut them out. And so just understanding your identity of what do we give up. We're not going to shut them out. We're not, not every single time we're going to get a stop. What can we live with? And that's kind of what we're really, really stamping this week.